it's interesting to take a look at Auburn and Bryan Harsin. Okay, man. This one got heated up quick, fast, in a hurry late last week. Okay? So all of a sudden it felt like the Thursday after National Signing Day, we started to hear rumors about Bryan Harsin being on the hot seat in a very real way, where Auburn might be looking to make a change at head coach in February, which is really difficult to understand until we take stock of what has occurred. Okay, so Bryan Harsin was 69-19 over 7 seasons at Boise State before taking the job at Auburn last December. That'd be December 2020. The Tigers looked like a great football team to start the season. They began 6-2 and then went on a 5-game losing streak. And each one got uglier. Matter of fact, in their bowl game, they lose to Houston. Houston gets to 12 wins the first time in their history. Dana Holgorsen is yelling at Bryan Harsin to get off the days so the winners can speak. That's a tough scene, man. That's a tough scene if you're an Auburn fan. You got to get heckled by the head coach at Houston. Like, I got all sorts of jokes for Auburn, but you just got heckled by Houston. For good reason, by the way, right? That's tough. So he goes on vacation after National Signing Day when all of this starts to heat up. But the thing to also keep into context in National Signing Day is Auburn didn't sign anybody on National Signing Day. Now, they finish with the number 18 class in all of the sport. They finished number 8 in the SEC, though, and there are 14 teams in the SEC. The folks at Auburn are not comparing themselves to the rest of college football. That 18 doesn't mean much to them. That 8, they're very upset about that 8 because they understand we cannot compete in the SEC West that features our nemesis and in-state rival, Alabama, an LSU team that won the national championship just 2 years ago, an Ole Miss team that is coming off the best season they've ever had in their history, an A&M team that blew the doors off of recruiting in 2022 and feels like a contender for the national championship. And then there's you and Mississippi State. No. The folks at Auburn also feel some kind of way about being Auburn fans. We'll get to that here in a second. But let's talk about just some of the changes that have been made on his staff, right? Because the first things that really got under people's skin is he loses his offensive coordinator, right? Fine, cool. He hires Austin Davis, who had played at Southern Miss and was recently a quarterbacks coach at Seattle Seahawks. And then, not a month into his job, Austin Davis decided that he was going to leave the program. He said it's for personal reasons. Fine. The one that really got to people, though, is Derek Mason, defense coordinator at Auburn, choosing to not only leave Auburn for Oklahoma State's opening, but to take a $400,000 pay cut to do it. Derek Mason has got tremendous respect inside of the SEC. He is a valued coach, according to them. So when that dude decided to leave, everybody else looked around and said, what don't we know? Okay? He took nearly a $500,000 pay cut to go to Stillwater. Something ain't right in Auburn, Alabama. Now, that's not meant to be shade to Stillwater, but you know who you are, and you know what's up there. I went to school up there. I know what's up there. I handed out L's to y'all up there, and y'all took them out of my hands. You understand who you are. I want to hear no noise about this. Okay? You had a great season in 2021, but I want to hear no noise about this and treat Derek Mason right. He's a good football coach. Now, we're also talking about a 5th coordinator search in 14 months since taking the Auburn job. Now, Harsin elevated Jeff Schmedding to be his defensive coordinator at Auburn. Okay? Dude worked with him at Boise State, and I'm sure he's a great coach and going to be a good play caller. But he's not inspiring the Auburn booster, who I will talk about here in just a second. Then we're talking about the original sin of recruiting after going 6-7, right, in your year one. which is to say, we put so much emphasis on the transfer portal that we don't think of National Signing Day as a day to sign, the high school recruiting seniors or rising seniors, or not even rising seniors, the graduating seniors. But you can't not sign a single player at National Signing Day. I know that because Bryan Harsin did that and they want to fire him. Let me try to put this in better perspective here. It's not just that they did not sign a single player on National Signing Day. It's that they lost a player to the portal also on National Signing Day to drive that tally up to 20 players in the portal. Now, you can put 20 players in the portal, but you better get 20 quality players back. And Auburn didn't do that. You lose Bo Nix to Oregon, and you add Zach Calzada, who's the backup at A&M, who beat Alabama, right? Beat Alabama, but so did Bo Nix, right? Nobody's inspired by Zach Calzada challenging TJ Finley to be the starting quarterback at Auburn. Whatever we think about Bo Nix, Auburn folks loved him. And that counts for a ton when people are trying to get you fired, especially when you're just 14 months into your job. All right. Other part about this is that players that are still on the team had choice words about Harsin. So Smoke Monday replied to an Instagram story last Friday claiming that Harsin, quote, doesn't understand kids that come from nothing. That ought to spook you if you are an Auburn fan, because Smoke is being very diplomatic and politically correct while also saying, hey, look, I like Harsin. He coaches his behind off, but he can't relate to us. And it's not just a Harsin issue on this, right? I hear this from kids all the time. They just really wish somebody would get down in the mud with them and understand how they're living. For instance, you got to call parents, not just players. You got to understand mama. You got to understand pops. This is what Nick Saban does better than anybody else on earth. Your mom and dad will recruit you to Alabama because Nick Saban recruited them to Alabama. Okay? For those of y'all that are raising blue chip recruits, remember, you care about how your kid feels about an institution. You care more about how you feel about an institution. There ain't a mama in the world that ain't going to point to Stanford and say, yeah, you should go play football there to offer you a scholarship, because they understand what Stanford is. But David Shaw go out of his way to go get them? Good luck. Good luck. I'm talking to blue chip recruits right now. Hey, RJ, I got an offer from Auburn on the floor, and I got an offer to Princeton. My mama want me to go to Princeton. Yeah, she does. Because Princeton is setting you up for life. And if you cannot communicate how you are setting that kid up for life, parents don't want to hear from coaches. And if you can't communicate to the kid in a way that they understand, that's on you. It is not incumbent upon a kid to understand you. It is incumbent upon you to understand a kid. Whatever you got to do to get on their level, you got to do it. And when you got a blue chip and a leader on your team like Smoke Monday coming out to smoke you out, pun intended, that's going to spook people as well. Now, we haven't seen much movement on the Harsin issue for a couple of reasons. One is the man is on vacation. He's even had to combat this while on vacation, okay? The other is money owed, okay? This I find fascinating. $18.3 million is owed to Bryan Harsin for 5 years remaining on his contract. He would be owed $9 million, plus dollars, so $9.15 million within the next month if he is fired. And the rest would be paid out quarterly payments started on July 15th over the following year according to his contract. So, if Auburn chose to fire Bryan Harsin, they would be paying him and Gus Malzahn $40 million. That's two men. That's not coaching staffs. That's two coaches. $40 million to not coach. And usually, A team that wants to pick up that coach off the heap can structure the contract in a way so that the other institution is still paying their salary. Right? So think about Central Florida and Gus Malzahn. They got a deal. And Gus Malzahn is a great coach. And he's been a great coach. And if you're Auburn boosters, you're also looking for the dude that's going to not just have you winning, but have you beating up on Nick Saban. So essentially, you're looking for Kirby Smart. And that's who you think you should be. You think you should be Georgia. Auburn, in the history of Auburn, has never been Georgia. Like, even when Cam Newton put all of them dudes on his back and took everybody to the 2010 national championship, it was still Auburn. Like, Gene Chizik got fired 2 years later after going 0-8 in the SEC because you can't do that. That's not going to work. You know? Gus Malzahn's able to beat Nick Saban. They still fired him. You want to be the man. And you're looking for the man that can beat the man, and it turns out to you finding out Bryan Harsin might not be the man, and you want to actually get out of this contract because you got buyer's remorse. It's just, it's such a tough deal right now for them because it didn't have to be this way. Ain't nothing wrong with Gus Malzahn. Ain't nothing wrong with Bryan Harsin, quite honestly. Give the man some time, he probably going to flip it around. I mean, look at what he did at Boise State. But you have reason to be concerned, certainly. But more than anything, this comes back to Auburn really needs to settle on it's okay to be Auburn. It's okay. You know, this is something we talk about in college football all the time. Do you know who you are? Do you know what a good season is for you? Right? Historically. This is why people choose to go to Alabama. They want to win. Right? I mean, students. You choose to go to Alabama for school because you want to be a part of winning. Okay? You don't choose to go to a private liberal arts university like myself because you want to be a part of a national championship program. I don't expect Tulsa to win no national championship. Okay? I expect them to get their flowers, they go undefeated, but I don't expect them to win no national championship. It's asinine. But Auburn managed to do that one time with the greatest player who has ever played college football, and he has that title in part because he put Auburn on his back. Like, I still can't get over this. Outside of Nick Fairley, y'all can't name nobody else on that Auburn team. Nobody. You looked at Gene Chizik and said, the dude from Iowa State won a national championship? Yes. You looked at Gus Malzahn and said, wasn't that dude an offensive coordinator at Tulsa? Yes. Because it's just, it ain't supposed to happen, and that it happened for you, I'm happy. But you can't expect that to be what you are. Anyway, I say all that to say, Bryan Harsin survives this. Let that man do what he needs to do. Let him coach out his contract, and if it still ain't working, by all means, go get somebody else. But don't pay nobody no $19 million to go away. $18 million, as if it matters at this point, when it's going to be 40. That's just dumb. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 ranked show YouTube channel.